Exposed. They humiliated this black woman at a luxury party. Discover her incredible connection. Mia Johnson never imagined she'd find herself standing in a glittering penthouse overlooking the dazzling Manhattan skyline. Surrounded by tuxedos and gowns, the elegant atmosphere buzzed with laughter and clinking champagne glasses, a far cry from the Bronx streets where she knew each pothole by heart. The invitation slipped into her hands like a dream, a fundraiser for community development. Still, as she surveyed the sea of privilege wrapped in glitz, doubt crept in, knotting her stomach. Here she was, a single mother, in a world that felt unwelcoming yet intriguing. Despite her modest black dress, Mia wore her determination like a crown. The soft cotton felt foreign against the satin and silk swirling around her. She was used to working late nights at the hospital, tending to injuries and ailments while managing her son's school schedule. Every shift, every sleepless night, designed to provide a better tomorrow for them. But here, all her dreams seemed distant, like echoes in this cacophony of wealth. Then it happened. A well-known socialite, adorned in designer attire, stepped closer, her voice dripping with condescension. "Oh, look, it's Nurse Ratched." Laughter erupted, sharp and biting, puncturing Mia's heart. Gasps rippled through the crowd as the mockery hung in the air. It felt like a punch to the gut, a reminder of every time she had been looked down upon. As her cheeks flushed with shame, Mia hesitated. That humiliation felt like shackles weighing her down, threatening to pull her under. But a flicker within her ignited a warmth that began to spread, fueled by her grandmother's voice echoing in her mind, reminding her of her worth. Instead of retreating, she straightened her spine and faced the crowd. "You think my job is a joke, but it's hard work that saves lives," she declared. The buzz dimmed as she spoke, her voice steady and brave, resonating against the polished walls. The inquisitive glances shifted from the socialite to Mia, curiosity and newfound respect bubbling up in the crowd as whispers spread like wildfire. She was no longer just Mia from the Bronx. In that moment, she stood for everyone who had faced judgment and scorn. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the conversation heatedly unfolded, tearing through social constructs and class divides, a woman from the corner of the hall whispered, "Did you know she's a descendant of Ruth Carter, the civil rights leader?" The air shifted again, heavy with realization. Mia blinked, her heart racing, a sense of ownership intertwining with the legacy handed down like an heirloom. Who was she if not the embodiment of struggle and resilience? Tensions soared, and the air thickened as Mia faced the socialite, both trembling and empowered. This was not just about one woman. It was the voice of a community echoing through ages. Mia understood this moment was far from over. Questions clawed at her thoughts. Could she transcend this humiliation? What did her newfound heritage demand from her? As midnight approached, the city lights glittered outside, illuminating the crossroads where her past and future collided. Mia discovered a fire igniting within. Her journey of self-discovery had only just begun. Mia's heart raced as she took in the shifting dynamics around her, the laughter fading into a reverent hush. Whispers hung heavy in the air, each word a wave washing over her. She felt buoyed, cradled by the stories of those who had come before her. Suddenly, it wasn't just about defiance. It was about honoring a legacy. "Who do you think you are?" the socialite retorted, her tone dripping with disdain, but there was an edge of uncertainty in her eyes now, as if she sensed the tide turning. Mia inhaled deeply, pulling strength from the energy of the crowd. She was no longer just a woman in a cotton dress. She embodied years of struggle, defeat, triumph, and resilience. "I'm someone who knows the value of hard work and dignity," she replied, her voice unwavering. An electric murmur surged through the gathering as attendees leaned in closer, tantalized by the unfolding drama. The moment teetered on the brink, Mia on one side, the shimmering but shallow world of privilege on the other. In that instant, She didn't see an audience. She saw mothers, fathers, children, each with their own burdens, their own dreams. They had come to this party to make a difference, but the conversation had turned to mere entertainment, a spectacle of wealth and privilege. Mia turned towards the woman who had called her out, her voice firm yet inviting. You laugh at my profession, but every day I care for our community. I fight for those who don't have a voice. Do you? Gasps erupted as people exchanged glances. Mia's words had struck a chord, piercing through the layers of entitlement wrapped around the partygoers. In that charged atmosphere, a change began to ripple. She saw nods and murmurs of agreement. This wasn't just her battle. It was theirs too. The socialite faltered, her bravado waning. I didn't mean no. Mia cut her off. You need to hear this. We all need to hear it. The truth is, we can do better. I'm not an anomaly in this crowd. I'm part of the fabric that weaves us together. The socialite opened her mouth, but Mia pressed on. Your laughter is just a reminder of the walls we've built. It's easy to mock from a distance, but real strength lies in understanding. Suddenly, a tall man stepped forward, clad in an elegant suit. You're right, he said, his voice booming over the hum. One doesn't truly understand until they've walked the path. His revelation seemed to anchor the room, sparking a realization among the crowd. Another voice rang out, a woman with shimmering jewels at her throat. We need to do more, to listen more. She's right. We have a responsibility. Each person seemed to take stock of their privilege, their part in the societal narrative that condescended instead of connecting. Mia felt a rush of hope, fluttering like a new flame threatening to ignite. Maybe this was what it meant to challenge the status quo, to feel seen and heard not just as an individual, but as part of something larger. She could be the catalyst for change. The applause broke forth, slow at first, then swelling into a thunderous declaration of empathy and solidarity. People began to gather closer to her, drawn by the honesty of her words. As she stood there, surrounded by an awestruck audience, the reality of what she had led started to bear down on her. But Mia wasn't finished. We're not here just to sip champagne and forget. We have to act. Cheers erupted, signaling an awakening. Just as things took a vibrant turn, Mia looked around, her heart swelling with unexpected warmth. But beneath that warmth was a question lingering heavily in the air. What would this newfound courage demand from her moving forward? Could she harness the momentum created tonight into something that would ripple through communities far beyond this penthouse? With a gaze that sparkled like the city lights below, Mia prepared to embrace whatever came next. The night was still young, and her journey was only just beginning. Mia stood amidst the electrified crowd, the cheers still reverberating in her ears. Each clap felt like a heartbeat of change, pulsing in sync with the hope rising within her. She took a moment to gather her thoughts, focusing on the flickering possibility of transformation that hung in the air. The heavy-set man in glasses moved through the crowd, his face flushed with a mix of admiration and disbelief. You really got to them, didn't you? He said, the awe palpable in his voice. I mean, I've been coming to these soirees for years, and I've never seen anything like that. Mia's heart soared at his words. She had sparked something. I think we just needed a nudge, she replied, trying to catch her breath. We've been stifled by our own comforts for too long. The crowd nodded, with voices rising in agreement. More people pressed forward, filling the space around her. She felt a strength swelling, a collective pulse thrumming in her veins. Each face reflected their own stories, their own struggles, urging her on. Let us not stop here. A woman shouted, her gold earrings catching the dim light as she waved her hand, trying to signal everyone's attention. We need to start real conversations. We need to make change right now. Mia's mind raced. It was one thing to challenge entrenched ideals in a moment of passion, but the true test was how they would mobilize. What we need is to unite. Mia raised her voice. Let us create a place where our voices can be heard. We can launch initiatives, organize community events. We can make a real impact. Awareness crackled through the gathering. The whispers of support turned into an urgent dialogue, promising to shift from simply applauding her words to acting on them. Enthusiasm grew, spreading like a fire fueled by fresh air. The chandelier glinted above them, casting playful sparkles as if celebrating their newfound determination. What about a fundraiser? Someone shouted from the back, curiosity igniting excited chatter. That is a brilliant idea, Mia replied, her heart thumping fiercely. A fundraiser not just for charity, but a platform for discussion, awareness, and empowerment. The gleam in the crowd's eyes spoke volumes, an anticipation that was contagious. Mia felt a swell of purpose wash over her. It was so much bigger than her now. This was about their community, their future. And yet, beneath that excitement, an undercurrent of uncertainty tugged at her thoughts. What if they met resistance the moment they stepped outside this room? Before she could dwell on the doubt, a voice broke through her reverie. The tall man from earlier, the one who had first echoed her sentiments, stepped forward once again. Mia, you've ignited something tonight, he said, his tone earnest. We're ready to follow your lead. Just tell us what you need. Mia's mind raced. This was the moment, but what would it cost her to lead? She ventured into unknown territory, and now, the responsibility weighed heavily on her. Let us meet again, she declared, her voice a mix of confidence and trepidation. I'll set up a time for us to gather. We can brainstorm how to take action, how to actually create change. Cheers erupted again, but in the back of her mind, Mia questioned if she was truly ready for what lay ahead. With each clap and cheer, she felt the gravity of expectations settle around her. Tomorrow would bring challenges and obstacles she could hardly fathom. Maybe this wasn't just about change. Perhaps it was also about the price of being a voice among the many. As Mia glanced around at the energized assembly, a tight knot formed in her stomach. What if she faltered under their hope? What if her light dimmed in the face of adversity? Yet, the weight of possibility drew her forward, igniting a fierce desire to embrace the unknown. She inhaled deeply, committing to this path come what may. But as she walked toward the exit, a glimmer caught her eye, an envelope tucked under her coat the whole time. She hesitated as she pulled it out. Could it be a message just for her? Or perhaps a warning? What secrets would it reveal? Would it guide or mislead her as she stepped further into the spotlight? One thing was clear, her journey was far from over. Mia stood at the door, the envelope cradled in her hands, heart pounding like the beat of a drum. She felt the heat of the crowd behind her, but her focus narrowed to the small, unassuming piece of paper. It was as if the world around her faded, leaving only the soft rustle of her heartbeat in her ears. With trembling fingers, she opened it, the faint scent of ink mingling with her rising anxiety. As she unfolded the paper, a simple message emerged. Meet me at the old library at noon. I have something important to share. No signature, no further context, just those urgent words. Mia's mind raced. The old library was known for its dusty stacks and forgotten stories, a place most people avoided. It had been the backdrop for whispers and secrets, but now it felt like a beckoning call into the unknown. Who could it be? Was it a friend? A critic? She knew the questions could spiral endlessly, but the urgency of the demand stirred something within her. Hey, Mia, you coming? A voice jolted her from her thoughts. It was the man with glasses, and his eager smile brought her back to the reality of the moment. He was joined by a few others, still buzzing with the remnants of hope from the night before. She hesitated, glancing back at the envelope. The library meeting tugged at her instincts, promising answers, yet shrouded in mystery. I'll catch up with you all later, she called out, forcing a smile that felt more like an apology. They nodded, confusion flickering in their eyes, but her heart was already racing toward the path laid out before her. The streets leading to the library were darkening as clouds rolled in threatening rain, and yet oddly soothing, as if the storm matched her whirlwind emotions. When she arrived, the old building loomed ahead, a relic of the past with weathered bricks and an air of solitude. The door creaked open, and a rush of mustiness filled her senses, an odd comfort in its familiarity. She approached the front desk, half expecting to find someone waiting. Instead, it was just silence, broken only by the soft hum of flickering fluorescent lights. Hello? Her voice echoed, swallowed by the stillness, as if the library itself could hold secrets for her alone. Seconds passed, stretching into uneasy minutes. Just as doubt began to creep in, she heard a shuffle behind a stack of books. A silhouette emerged, an older woman, her hair silver like moonlight, eyes sharp with knowing. Mia, she smiled warmly, drawing her closer. I'm glad you came. Mia's chest tightened as she recognized the face, a local activist known for her passionate words and fierce resolve. You wanted to see me? Indeed, she replied, her voice low and steady. What you spoke about last night resonates deeply, but it's more complicated than it seems. You're at the edge of something big, but there are risks. Mia's throat felt dry as she listened intently. What kind of risks? Those who don't want change will try to silence any voice. But there is hope, Mia. You have a gift, and with it comes responsibility. The woman paused, locking eyes with her, making the weight of those words sink in as heavy as the atmosphere was. Something else flickered in Mia's heart, a spark of defiance. What do I do? She asked, desperation lacing her tone. The woman handed Mia another envelope, this one sealed and stamped. Everything you need to know is in here. But remember, each choice comes with consequences. Are you ready for that? Mia's breath hitched. An envelope filled with secrets, possibilities, or perhaps peril. A decision loomed on the horizon, and it echoed in her very being. Ready or not? We have to find our voices, Mia murmured, feeling the weight of expectation return, yet now it felt different. She was not alone, she had a leader guiding her. But as she left the library, the clouds above parted just long enough for a ray of sunlight to break through. In that moment, hope intertwined with doubt, and she wondered what awaited her. What revelations could change everything? The air tinged with promise and uncertainty wrapped around her like a cloak, prompting an unforeseen fear. Would the truth bolster her resolve, or threaten to shatter it? As she walked away, the path ahead darkened once more. The envelope, clutched tightly in her palm, felt like a heartbeat of its own. What lay inside? Would it be her guiding light, or a heavy burden to bear? Mia couldn't shake the feeling that she was standing on the brink of something transformative and terrifying. Mia stepped out of the library, the weight of the envelope pressing against her chest like a secret too rich to leave unshared. The sky, once blue, had turned to a deep, brooding gray, matching the turmoil inside her. She knew she had to open it, to peel back the layers of uncertainty. Walking down the empty street, clutching the envelope, she felt the world shift around her. The distant rumble of thunder seemed to echo her racing thoughts, every boom a reminder of the storm brewing within. Was she really ready for what lay ahead? Her hands trembled again as she reached a quiet park bench, half hidden by overhanging branches that whispered secrets of their own. She sat down, the wood cool beneath her. Taking a deep breath, she carefully opened the envelope. The scent of freshly printed paper wafted out, carrying a sharpness that cut through the musty memories of the library. Inside, she found another piece of paper, this one marked with a series of bullet points. As she scanned the words, her heart raced further, excitement mingling with fear. Each line detailed information about the very movement she had touched on the night before, the injustice felt by so many, the change they yearned for, and the pushback from those in power. But there was more. These were not just impersonal facts. They named people, families, allies, enemies. Mia, you have the power to inspire, the older woman's voice echoed in her mind, deep and unwavering. Don't let fear silence you. But what if it did? She thought about the whispers that would follow her into the world if she took action. What if she became a target? Could she really shoulder the responsibility of igniting a fire that could lead to change or destruction? Suddenly, a figure approached from the path under the trees. It was Sandra, a fellow activist and friend, her face alight with concern. Mia, I saw you leave. Are you okay? Mia quickly shoved the contents of the envelope back into her pocket, not ready to share just yet. I'm fine, just thinking. She forced a smile, but it felt tight, like a mask slipping off at the worst moment. They're planning something big, Sandra said, dropping to the bench beside her. An event that could draw attention. But we need voices. Your voice. Mine. The question slipped out, unfiltered. Yes, absolutely. You have a gift for speaking. People listen to you. Sandra's eyes sparkled with conviction. But we have to be careful. There are some people who would want to shut you down. Mia's heart sank. It was the very thought that had paralyzed her before. But there was another pulse beneath that fear, one that flickered like a candle against the wind. What if speaking up could spark hope for so many? What if her voice could sway others to join the battle? I received something, Mia finally admitted, pulling the sealed envelope back out. But I don't know if I'm ready for this. Sandra's expression softened. You don't have to carry it alone. Let us share it together. That way, it becomes our strength. Mia studied her friend, the woman who had stood against the odds so many times. That warmth filled her heart, nudging the decision closer. Okay, she whispered, her resolve slowly crystallizing, but lingering hesitation gnawed at her. But what if I can't handle it? Then we'll handle it together, Sandra reassured, placing a comforting hand on Mia's knee. You'll find your strength. Believe me. The thunder rolled overhead as if the sky itself was ready to respond. For a moment, Mia felt the weight begin to lift, as if her fears were being absorbed by the storm clouds, replaced by a growing fire inside her. But as they descended deeper into this journey of truth and courage, a thought remained lodged within her. What if the backlash from this choice threatened not just her future, but all who dared to stand beside her? Mia's breath caught. She took one last look at the envelope, feeling it flicker with potential. What was on the other side of this leap? Could she really step into the role she was destined for, or would shadows swallow her whole? Determined footsteps led her, and Sandra onward, but uncertainty hung in the air like the ominous clouds above. What awaited them could change everything. Would they step boldly into the storm, or retreat to safety before the winds could whip them into something beyond control? Mia's heart pounded as she and Sandra made their way through the park, the air thickening with urgency. Each step felt heavy beneath the rolling thunder, the weight of their shared mission drawing them closer together even as doubt clung to Mia like a shadow. Where do we even start? Mia whispered, her voice trembling more than she wanted to admit. Sandra's gaze was steady. We start by calling the people who care. Your words matter, Mia. They resonate. You just have to share them. As they approached an open field near the park's edge, the atmosphere crackled with energy, like the stillness before a storm. Mia looked out at the gathering clouds, her thoughts swirling with the possibilities and dangers of what lay ahead. What if I fall flat? She asked, looking at Sandra with wide eyes. What if no one listens? Sandra's response was instant, firm. You won't fall. You'll rise. Every time someone speaks up, they're paving the way for others. Whether or not people respond, your voice will matter. Even if just one person hears you and finds courage in your words, that's enough. But what if just one person turned against her? Could they twist her words, use them as weapons? Mia shivered at the thought, pushing the lingering anxiety into a corner of her mind. She was tired of being scared, tired of silence. And beneath the fear, a part of her was alive, incandescent with the thrill of standing for something greater. There's a meeting tonight, Sandra continued, pulling Mia back from her thoughts. A gathering of allies planning a demonstration. We need to be there. It's our chance to make a splash. Do you really think I should speak? Mia questioned, anxiety coiling tighter in her stomach. Sandra locked eyes with her, fierce and unwavering. Absolutely. You're the spark, and the fire needs you. Drifting thoughts turned concrete as Mia imagined the gathering. Would the faces in the crowd be warm and welcoming, or cold and judgmental? Would people be inspired or offended? The unknown was both terrifying and exciting, an electric pulse that sent shivers down her spine. Okay, she finally said, forcing a smile that felt more genuine this time. Let us do this. As they ventured closer to the meeting site, the evening shadows lengthened, casting an ethereal glow over the park. The tension in her chest loosened just a bit, as if she had taken a step away from a precipice. With Sandra beside her, the calm felt attainable, even inviting. Arriving at a small pavilion nestled among trees, they saw a crowd forming a tapestry of faces, some familiar, but many were strangers. Each person appeared eager and energized, the air thick with conversations blending together like a beautiful song. Mia gulped, her stomach fluttering. Somewhere in the back of her mind, the whispering doubts returned, but she fought them down. She had begun walking this path. Retreating was no longer an option. Stepping to the front, she caught sight of the podium looming ahead. The thrill coursed through her veins like wildfire. She could feel it, the heartbeat of change, the flow of collective hope. Could she truly give voice to all the fears and frustrations silent beneath the surface? With each heartbeat, the determination rekindled. She thirsted for it. Sandra squeezed her hand, lending her strength. You've got this. For a fleeting moment, everything seemed within reach. But just as hope surged, a sharp crash of thunder rolled through the sky, shaking the ground beneath them. Mia hesitated, her heart racing in time with the tempest. What if that storm was a warning? What if it meant she was about to be crushed under the weight of expectations, the backlash against the very courage she sought to embody? In that moment, she had to make a choice. Was she ready to face the storm, to embrace both the bright and dark sides of her decision? As she stepped towards the pulpit, an unexpected voice, a shout of anger, broke through the gathering, slicing through the moment of clarity like glass shattering. Mia, don't do it. You don't know who you're dealing with. The crowd turned, uncertainty rippling through their ranks. Mia felt her heart drop. Who was that? What did they know? The storm was no longer just inside her. It was brewing in the crowd, and it meant trouble was lurking just beyond the horizon. Mia's pulse thundered in her ears as she scanned the crowd for the source of the ominous shout. The voice echoed like a siren, drawing eyes and whispers in her direction. She felt the weight of 100 stares pressing down on her, anxiety bubbling like a volatile pot ready to boil over. Who said that? She stammered, the words barely escaping her lips. Sandra stood beside her, tense but resolute. Just focus on the podium, Mia. Don't let them distract you. But the voice was already infecting her mind, planting seeds of doubt. What did they know that she didn't see? Mia's throat tightened as she searched for reassurance in Sandra's eyes. The crowd was shifting and murmurs escalated, an unpredictable swell of energy. I'm not scared, Mia asserted, though the tremor in her voice betrayed her. It was a mantra. She had to believe it. She needed to believe it. She stood tall, swallowing hard, and drew in a breath filled with purpose. The tension shifted, the crowd still murmuring among themselves. Mia could see the uncertainty etched on their faces. They were waiting for something, anything to happen. It wasn't just about her. It was about them. Mia, another voice boomed. You're making a big mistake. They're just using you. This time, the anger in the tone sent electric shocks through her veins. The whispers rose into a chorus of discontent, filling the air with a mix of dread and confusion. Who is it? Mia yelled back. Who's trying to intimidate me? Her own courage surprised her. An older man stepped forward from the edge of the crowd, his expression fierce. People who've walked this road before. They want you to be a pawn. Don't let them pull you in. Listen, Sandra called out, trying to restore order. We're here for a reason. Mia's voice matters. Mia's heart raced. She was standing at the edge of a precipice, staring down into a dark void filled with fears and doubts. But even at that moment, something awoke inside her. It was the spark Sandra had spoken of, a burning desire to be seen, to share her truth, no matter the cost. What is a pawn? Mia challenged, her voice steadying as she leaned into the energy of the crowd. A pawn is just a figure in someone else's game, right? But I'm not here to be used. This is my fight. The gaze of the crowd shifted. A few faces lit up with understanding, some nodding slowly, while others remained skeptical. That was okay. There was strength in numbers, and she could feel the tide beginning to turn. I'm here because I want to speak out against the silence that has held us captive for so long. The words flowed from her heart, warming her spirit. Change happens when we share our stories. Each of us has a voice that deserves to be heard. Murmurs transformed into whispers of support. Mia could feel the crowd shift as they leaned in, their energy coalescing around her. The threatening thunder in her mind started to fade, replaced by a sense of unity, a flicker of hope. Mia, shouted a voice from the crowd, urgency sparking in their eyes. You can do this. Just let it out. Another shouted. Mia lifted her chin, the fear ebbing from her veins. This was her moment to shine. But just as she was about to step forward, the ground beneath her trembled once more, a torrent of voices rising against her. Mia, no. You don't know the odds. You don't know their power. For a split second, the uncertainty threatened to pull her back down. Was she really ready to face the forces that would fight back with everything they had? A storm was brewing, not in the sky above, but within the very heart of the crowd she stood before. Would she rise to meet it, or be swept away? The answer loomed over her like the darkening clouds, and in that moment, the world balanced on a knife's edge. Mia took a deep breath, the kind that fills your lungs and ignites a flicker of bravery somewhere inside. I know the odds, she replied, her voice gaining strength. I'm not here by accident or just to play a part. I'm here because I want to change the narrative. We deserve more. The murmurs transformed into a cautious cheer. Maybe it was the spark she had been waiting for. It felt like the air crackled with possibility. Faces around her were shifting, curiosity melting some of the skepticism, and Mia leaned into that energy. But as the wave of support surged, so did the counterforce. "You're naive," shouted a woman near the front, tears in her eyes. "They will crush you the moment you speak out." That anger shot through Mia like ice water. She could see the pain behind the woman's words, a plea wrapped in fear. It wasn't just about her anymore. It was a collective worry, an entire history of oppression pressing in from all sides. The crowd began whispering again, the tension back and heavier. "Mia," Sandra urged, gripping her shoulder. "Focus on your truth. They need to hear it. You need to say it." The woman's voice echoed in her mind. "They will crush you." The weight of those words felt suffocating. Yet, her heart thundered with an urgency to validate not just her feelings, but everyone's. The forgotten, the dismissed, the unheard. "Here's the thing," Mia said, lifting her chin defiantly. "I may not know their power, but I know ours. If we stand together, they can't break us. If you're afraid, it's time to stand up and support each other instead of tearing each other down." The crowd was alive now, voices intermingling with agreement and excitement. Even skeptics nodded along, as if Mia was shining a light into the darkest corners of their doubts. She could see them leaning closer, craving connection and recognition. "Change demands courage," Mia declared, feeling the warmth of shared energy surrounding her like a shield. "It starts right here, right now." There are so many of us who whispered our stories in the dark, thinking no one would listen. But I want to change that. I will change that. The cheers erupted like firecrackers under the gray sky. They were rallying around her, and she felt invincible for a moment, swept away in the tide of emotion. But that sense of strength wouldn't last long. A new voice cut through, sharp and cold. "Look at her. A pretty face with pretty words. Don't you know she is being used?" That voice belonged to a man a short distance away, his arms crossed, jeering. The crowd wavered again, confusion creeping back in. Mia's mind raced. Was it too late? Had the tide turned too quickly? "No. Listen," she pleaded, her voice rising again. "If we stay divided, we lose. Look around you, this is our moment. Let us not let anyone define us. Let us define ourselves." Tensions bubbled just beneath the surface. She could feel them, the fear, the anger, the desire for change. The very essence of a truth that bound them, ready to burst forth. With every heartbeat, she sensed it. The crowd was restless, a brewing storm on the cusp of action. But was it enough? Would they push forward with her, or back away from the challenge? Mia took another breath, determination flooding her veins. "We can't let anything pull us apart. I'm not here to be silent." And there it was, hovering, hope and doubt twirling dangerously close together. The crowd held its breath, and she could feel the aching need for something to give. Would this be the moment they united, or would old fears take hold again, pulling the crowd back into silence? As she stood there, the weight of 1,000 stories seemed to press against her, and in that heartbeat, she knew the answer was still unwritten. Mia felt her heart racing as the noise of the crowd began to swell and contract like the tide. Each breath she took was a mix of fervor and trepidation. She caught glimpses of faces around her. Some were hopeful, some skeptical, and others seemed influenced by the naysayers lurking in the back. The air was thick with anticipation, each soul present holding its own story, its own burden, interwoven with hers. Suddenly, Sandra stepped closer, her eyes bright with conviction. "Mia, this is your moment. Don't hold back." Mia nodded, allowing her friend's intensity to light a fire within her. "Do you feel it?" Mia called out, her voice echoing with urgency. "The weight of our shared pain. The dreams we've kept to ourselves? Those dreams are not just mine or yours, they're ours. We have every right to claim them." The murmurings started to grow again, the thrums of agreement sparking around her. For the first time, she sensed a shift. The hesitations were melting into something else, a collective resilience that took shape in the forms of smiles, nods, and clenched fists. "Maybe I am naive," she continued, her voice growing stronger, carrying the weight of her newfound courage. "But there's beauty in that naivete. It means we're still willing to dream. We're here to rewrite the script they've forced upon us for so long. We can do it together." A man shouted, "The system is too strong." Mia fixed her gaze on him, locking eyes. But we are stronger together. Even the mightiest walls crumble when enough force is applied. We have power in numbers, power in our truth. It's time we strip away the shame that has been sewn into our histories. She could see the tension in the man's face give way to contemplation, the crowd's energy rising like a wave. It felt so close now, an electric current yearning to be released. There's a song inside each of us, just waiting to be sung, she shouted, the rhythm of her words matching the pounding of her heart. We've been silenced for too long. If we all raise our voices, they can't drown us out. What are we afraid of? Discomfort? Rejection? The risk is worth it for the freedom we crave. A woman started clapping, then another joined her, and soon the sound rippled through the crowd until everyone was clapping, cheering, standing, and united as one. The air vibrated with energy, a charged atmosphere as the walls around her fell away, letting in light. Mia's spirit soared. She was no longer alone. The adrenaline surged through her, urging her to push forward. Just when she began to lose herself in the moment, she spotted the man who had questioned her. His expression transformed. He stood, hands uncrossed, shifting from confrontational to one of understanding. But right then, a chilling interruption shattered the newfound harmony. It was a group of officials, their suits stark against the vibrant crowd, eyes scanning for dissent. Instant tension returned to the air. Criticism could swing like a blade when they turned their gaze upon us. Mia's heart sank as one of the officials spoke up, their tone cold and commanding. This is not the place for such discussions. We ask you to disperse peacefully. The crowd fell silent, uncertainty flooding the faces around her. It was now or never. Together, Mia shouted, echoing the heart of the gathering. Do we back down, or do we stand our ground? Anxiety gripped her, but within that moment, she found a new clarity and purpose. As people looked toward her, weighing their choices, Mia knew this moment would define everything. Would they rise to the challenge, or would they slip back into the shadows they had always known? Her voice rang out again, stronger, louder, fueled by unity. What will it be? With the crowd hanging on her every word, a new chapter lay ahead, and all of it was yet to unfold. The tension in the air was palpable, the storm outside mirroring the one within Mia's heart. She could feel the weight of 1,000 expectations pressing down on her. The crowd shifted restlessly at the interruption, eyes darting between the officials and her, searching for a flicker of leadership, a spark of inspiration. What would they choose? Mia inhaled deeply, pulling in the energy of the moment, willing herself to push through the fear that gripped her throat. They needed her. She could feel it in her bones. This is our moment, she proclaimed, her voice soaring above the whispering crowd, fueled by the fire brewing within. We can't back down. This is the time to turn our fears into courage. Every heartbeat echoed that truth, rippling through the faces around her. Are we going to let them silence us? Her question hung in the air, a challenge ringing out stark and clear. Or are we ready to own our voices? The officials shifted uneasily. There was a flicker of uncertainty on their faces as murmurs began to swell again, this time with an undercurrent of passion. People started to raise their hands, fists clenched, driven by a sudden flood of conviction. They were ready. Together, someone shouted, mirroring her earlier call. We stand united. Mia felt her pulse quicken as the sound of unity grew louder, a wave surging with every clap and cheer echoing across that park. The officials faltered, their stern presence wavering against the passionate cries for change. No more, Mia shouted, raising her arms as if casting a spell over the crowd. We deserve better. We deserve to be heard. A woman in the front stepped forward, tears in her eyes, and shouted, We're ready for change, Mia. We believe in this. The words fell like rain, nurturing the seedlings of hope in the hearts of everyone present. Mia's heart swelled with pride. Her words had awakened something powerful. A ripple of energy vibrated through the crowd. They were standing, united, facing the storm together. They would challenge the officials, not with fear, but with a fury born of years of oppression. Let them see us. Let them hear us, Mia called, her voice rising to meet the thunder rumbling overhead. Change doesn't come easy, but it starts right here, right now. Who's with me? The response was immediate. Voices erupted, raw and powerful, echoing her sentiments, a chorus of belief and tenacity. "We're with you. We're with you." Suddenly, the officials reeled back, surprised by the solidarity. It was not just Mia standing against them. It was an entire community ready to claim their narrative, to demand their space. No more empty promises. No more dismissals. She declared, standing firm before the officials. "This is our town. We will fight for every child, every family that deserves to be uplifted rather than overlooked. We deserve to thrive, not merely survive." Tears streamed down faces, smiles broke through despair, and laughter blended with the weighty air. It was a tapestry of hope woven by resilience. Mia felt tears welling in her own eyes, but they were not of fear. They were tears of joy. She could feel it, the weight lifting, the burden transforming into something lighter, something fierce. In that moment, she understood that this was not just about her anymore. This was a collective awakening. Each face reflected a story, and each story mattered. The officials stood awkwardly, the power they believed they held now diluted by a growing tide of humanity, determined to reclaim their voice. As murmurs turned into chants, Mia's heart soared. She was no longer just a nurse from the Bronx. She was a beacon of change. The clouds shifted outside, and a beam of sunlight broke through, bathing the gathering in golden light. Mia knew this was their moment, a chance to transform resolution into action. And as she looked into the faces around her, she saw the strength shared in their unity, the heartbeat of hope igniting in every soul, guiding them onward. Together, they would rise. "Tonight we declare our unity," Mia shouted, standing tall as the cheers ignited around her. "Let us be the change we want to see. Let us build a community where every voice counts." With every cheer, every clap, they carved their path forward together, fearless and free. And as they marched into the storm, there was a collective understanding that they were no longer defined by their circumstances. They were champions of change, writers of their stories, and together, they would forge a future brighter than any they had dared to dream before. Now was the time for action. As the last echoes of celebration faded into the night, Mia's heart soared. This was just the beginning. Hit that subscribe button to join us on this journey of transformation. Leave a like to show your support. Comment below on how you felt during this pivotal moment. And don't wait, not even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this change. You need to be part of the movement.